6,705 pounds. We've got roughly, I don't know, they're going to call this about a 27-footer. Probably measures out to about 30 feet when you factor in the tongue and the bumper. Wildwood here at HaylettRV of Coldwater, Michigan. Couples coach, kind of a early generation combination of a rear entertainment and rear living before either one of those concepts was truly well defined. It has had a pretty minor, I mean, it's nothing to get worked up over, but it has technically had a little leak around the skylight. It's been resealed. You can see a little bit of a wavy interior wall panel above the shower. That's it. There's no like mold spores growing out of the walls or nothing scary. Front window back when they were still doing that there. And previous owners have replaced the tongue jack and gone to a power jack. Now the awning on this, I'll show you when we get around the other side. The awning got hit. Allegedly, it's still functional. It looks like they seam taped the life out of that thing. And the tube looks like it might be bent up a little, but the folks actively used it. So there you have it. Now, they did something interesting. It's somewhat of a mega slide here because you have a sofa, a dinette, and then you have this huge closet storage on the inside. But you also have exterior pockets able to get under the dinette and behind that closet in there. So you've got some pretty awesome outside storage on here. That outside storage stuff, that's something that you actually still see Cherokee travel trailers by Forest River do quite a bit today. It seems to be something that a lot of other brands have sort of phased out of in more recent times. All the windows I've seen open for ventilation. Generally speaking, it's in very functional, livable condition. But like stuff like this, if we get, I don't know how well this is going to translate to video, but if you're standing it, yeah, you can kind of see right there how the awning is buckled down a little bit next to that cloud. It sort of divots in, and if you look really close, you can see where there are patches, quite a few patches on this. So the surface of that awning got drug on something. That being said, it does look like they went to some pretty good efforts to try to make it functional again. And my understanding is, it is functional. Now, just because of the age and the fact that it is not just in great condition, I'm not going to call it a handyman special, but I do want this to go to someone who is a little bit handy. For instance, I look at this rear corner and I can see some fairly dry sealant on there. I haven't investigated that super thoroughly, but just my knowledge here tells me that in the pretty near future, you're probably going to want to replace that. Now, if this is going to be your first RV, understand, you're going to have to learn a little bit of RV maintenance to go with this. If you're a handy person who's just looking to upgrade from a no slide to a slide out, something like that, this would be just an awesome trailer for you. Just because it does have a couple little nicks and scrapes and stuff here and there, you know, call it a scratch and dent special. We're letting this one go cheap. If you want to see if we have it in stock, if you want to see what the actual price tag is, because I don't have a hard price tag available to me when I do these videos. Actually, at the time of this filming, they're still peeling the weight distribution hitch off the front of this to transfer to the owner's new trailer. So I don't always have all that info available to me. Now, this is what I was talking about, that super slide. We've got the sofa, the dinette, and this giant closet is actually also part of the slide out. You can kind of see the slide flange going around it there. It looks like, holy crap, this is the hugest thing in the world. And then you open it, and for a split second, I was like, oh, that's not real big. But I realized what they did is they made it perfectly sized for like hanging coats and shirts and stuff inside. We've got 4 good dresser drawers here. Then on the outside, remember there was a door to access the storage on the backside. It's great for like brooms and fishing poles and tall, long, weird stuff. Also, easy access to the storage below the dinette here. That was a good touch. Big windows, lots of light. Good pantry with some good kitchen drawer space over there too. Those are welcome additions. That's something I don't see a lot of trailers have. Like I said, it's not a bad camper. It's had a couple bumps and scrapes, and if you're okay with those things, you are gonna get a sweetheart of a deal on this. And this has an OMG huge kitchen sink. You've got 2 double-sized sink bowls here, and it's stainless, super rugged. And look at this, even the original, oh my gosh, all of the manuals, all kinds of records of things in here. The original brochure when this thing was purchased is here. These folks were good note keepers. I mentioned, oh, by the way, not only do we have this big closet here, we also have an additional like pantry storage closet over there, and it's got some pegboard in it so that you can create like broom holders and things like that. Extra little stuff like that you don't tend to see in today's trailers. They have kind of sacrificed those things to keep trailers smaller, shorter, lighter weight. Now, I already talked about the elephant in the room. Yes, this has had a leak around the skylight. I didn't lie about that. I went out of my way to tell you about it. Actually, it would have been really easy to not talk about it, and someone probably wouldn't have noticed. That's not the type of business we do at HaylettRV. So, if this scares you a little too much, if the awning scares you a little too much, I get it. I respect that. I do. That's why I talked about them. However, I do ask that you take the time to review some of the other RVs that we may have in stock, and you can do that with the link in the video description down here, YouTube type folks. And you can buy with confidence from our dealership knowing that we don't give you a runaround. Bigger fan in here too for more airflow, always a good thing. That classic giant Forest River bathroom sink. I've always liked that. It sounds dumb to talk about a bathroom sink, but if there's one thing you're pretty much guaranteed to use at least twice a day, probably more, it's that right there. That front window, even with the shade drawn, or the cover on it, will let in lots of light. And 3 dresser drawers on both sides of the bed. That's a lot of good storage. There's a lot of good things going on in here. Little stuff like I look down in the heat vents, and I mean, that's pretty clean. That's an indicator I've learned to look for over the years. People who don't do a good job of maintaining their RV let those vents get dirty. People who take care of their campers don't let those vents get dirty, or they clean them. One or, something like that, but they don't let them sit there and get disgusting. I see good signs on this, but it is older. It is used. It is not in perfect condition. But it's also not top dollar. It's very fair. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.